All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. We are the Flex Factor group here for rapid prototyping and manufacturing. We're going to be going through our ideas for the rapid prototyping project. My name is Tyler Moore. These are my colleagues Matt Brown and Jeff Iwasaki, and we're going to go through the slides right now.
So first, we're taking a look at the Flex Factor logo. As you'll come to know in the future slides, our team and our brand really takes a medical approach to our products. And so we've reflected that here by having the FF, the Flex Factor, and then the caduceus of the medical industry overlaid over that. So it's a very, very good logo. So our first idea of something to 3D print in this class for the project is the can crusher. So the real driver here is that recycling cans, the cans build up a lot of space in your recycling bin, and so to reduce on that, you can crush them. Still fine, still recycle them, but the problem is if you're going to crush your cans, then you could hurt your hands. People with disabilities maybe can't even do that, and so how do we get around crushing the can, reducing your volume in your recycling bin, fitting more cans in the bin? So we have our can crusher device here. So we print these two platforms and then have a rail system in between with some off-the-shelf sliders or something like that, and then you kind of have your crushing fixture, and you pull down on it after you've seated your can in your grooved can location, and then you grab the handle and then slide it down on the rails and crush your can right there. Have this thing on the wall above your recycling bin. Can slides down the built-in slide right into your bin, and so you're going to save time. You're going to simplify the crushing process. You're going to save more bags for your if your recycling bin has bags. It's just a real slick way to crush your cans. So this was a strong option for our project.
So this here is our second option that we came up with for the rapid prototyping, and this is what we call the beer coolie. Essentially, it's just a beer can holder, beer bottle holder, either or. So the problem is you have a cold beer, and it straight out the cooler can be kind of hard to hold on to since it's so cold. And also your warm hand can actually transfer heat to the can and warm up the fluids unintentionally. So the idea is to build essentially an insulating cover for the can or the bottle. So the image on the right, you can see the beer coolie covering the can. It's got a handle feature for easy handling and extra security. You have a bottle opening feature to open your bottle prior to putting your bottle or can into the beer coolie. And then you also have these flanges on the top of your beer coolie, which we call beer funnel attachment flanges. So you can actually attach a beer funnel to your beer coolie, flip your can over, and chug your beer as you please. So this was another pretty good idea, meets the requirements in terms of volume and build time.
All right, so our third idea is the Finger Flex. It is a finger support structure that addresses the problem of repetitive joint stress. You can kind of see in the picture to the right, we have the outline of an index finger, and we have located the locations of high stress, which would be the tendon areas. So that's things like when you're typing, normal ergonomic issues would be able to distribute a keystroke force across the joints if we had a support structure around the finger. And that could be personalized by finger size depending on which finger it's for, or for whoever's finger it is. We can design it based off of those specifications.
So after looking at those three great options, we decided to settle on the Finger Flex option for moving forward in our project. And why did we throw away those other ideas? Well, this one's the best because we think it has the best, most complex, small parts for the build volume. It's conducive to rapid prototyping, and so with our current model that we've whipped together, we've got well under the volume, including support. We've got a build time that meets our requirements, and the real reasons why are we're just going to be tailored to each specific patient. So one of our group members, Tyler, suffers from conditions such as this on a day-to-day basis in the modern workplace, typing away, and so our prototype is going to be custom to his finger, but in the future this could be scaled up from doctors' offices. You could walk in and walk out with a new finger flex product to help you every single day and drastically improve your life if you're afflicted by these conditions, which we'll talk about.
All right, so these are just some of the common finger medical conditions with an associated picture to the right. The first being osteoarthritis. That one's, like Matt said, kind of near and dear to my heart. Affects 30 million people in the US alone. And that's just kind of a breakdown of the cartilage of your fingers from repetitive motion or stress. So that could be really low impact stress like keystrokes, or just any sort of force on the fingertips repetitively can wear down, and eventually you'll have that bone-to-bone damage over time. So having a support structure around it would really be able to prevent that. Rheumatoid arthritis, another one, affects 1.5 million people in the US. That's just a swelling of those same joints. So there's a lot of pain that can be experienced from the fingers without any sort of support around them. And then carpal tunnel, a really common ergonomic issue you can see in offices, affects 4 to 10 million people in the US. So a really common issue across the board in industry and just in everyday life that we wanted to address.
So this is our initial design that we came up with to try to mitigate some of those issues that Tyler and Matt had just talked about. So you can see in the images we have a 3-part finger flex assembly, and the 3 parts allows for full finger mobility to do any of the typing actions or any type of repetitive actions you may be doing with your afflicted fingers. The finger flex assembly can be tailor fit for maximized comfort for your finger, as well as maximum load distribution, even load distribution across the finger. The design is both lightweight and breathable to also increase comfort. And you can see in the exploded view we have 3 parts that are pinned together. They have pin connections that allow for easy assembly. So we kind of have like chamfered features to kind of guide the pins into place. And then you can see the 2 straight view and bent views to see kind of how the assembly works and the type of motion you'll see in the assembly. And this is just showing some of the future improvements we plan on making to our design. We want to add webbed features for further mass reduction and more breathability for your finger and the skin. We also want to optimize some of the inner dimensions that you can see in the section view to allow for more comfort and better load distribution by hugging your finger in the best way possible. And then as we learn from our initial prototype build, we can add compensation from the lessons learned from that build. And you can see just more views to kind of see how the finger fits in our finger flex assembly. And so this is where our design stands as of now. And thank you guys for listening.